No, 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 the banker said, already shaking his head at the screen. This can't be right. He tilted the monitor away, guarding it like a joke that didn't deserve a second audience. Then he laughed again. Louder. Sharper. Weaponized. A few people in line looked up. The man across the counter stood still. The banker leaned back in his chair, eyes scanning the man from shoes to collar. Sir, he said, smiling thinly, are you sure you didn't mean to use the ATM across the street? Your account is worthless. A piece of advice: you should close it and use the money left to manage your boring life. Okay. Piece of black shit. A chuckle rippled behind the man. Someone exhaled through their nose, entertained. The man said nothing. The banker turned the screen back just enough to humiliate with data. $1,000, he said, tapping the balance with his pen. Barely 4 figures. He whistled softly. That won't even cover the minimum exposure for this branch. The man looked at the screen, then back at the banker. I'm here to confirm a transfer, he said. The banker laughed hard this time. No attempt to soften it. A transfer? He repeated the word like it was a costume joke. From this account? He swiveled slightly, angling his body toward the line like a performer inviting witnesses. Sir, this is a private banking location. We handle institutional clients. Endowments. Real money. He leaned forward, voice dropping into something instructional and cruel. Not starter balances. The man's expression didn't change. The banker sighed theatrically, fingers already hovering over the keyboard. Let me guess, he said. You're expecting some miracle deposit. A check that hasn't cleared. A cousin who promised you something big. He smiled. They always do. Someone in line laughed openly now. The banker straightened his tie, emboldened. Look, he said, waving a hand, I don't know who sent you here, but this branch isn't charity. We don't babysit accounts that can't maintain relevance. Relevance. The word landed heavy. The man rested both hands on the counter. I just need confirmation, he said evenly. The banker rolled his eyes. Confirmation of what? He snapped. That you don't meet the threshold? That your balance wouldn't qualify you for a conversation, let alone a transfer. He stood slightly, asserting height, authority, dominance. Sir, do yourself a favor. Open an account at a community bank. Somewhere more appropriate. Appropriate. The security guard glanced over, already assuming who the problem was. The banker lowered his voice, smiling like he was offering wisdom. You people always think a suit changes the numbers. Silence. Not shock. Not outrage. Just silence. The man nodded once. Okay, he said. The banker exhaled, satisfied. Victory secured without resistance. Step aside, he said, already motioning to the next client. You're holding up the line. The man stepped aside. Not rushed. Not humiliated in posture. Just repositioned. The banker smirked and leaned toward the next customer. Unbelievable, he muttered, not quietly enough. The confidence with no capital. The man stood near the wall now. Waiting. The banker didn't look at him again. Didn't notice the calm. Didn't notice the absence of shame. Didn't notice the watch on the man's wrist. 10:28 a.m. The clock had started. And the banker had already said too much. Without knowing his worst fate is yet to arrive. The branch returned to its rhythm. Printers hummed. Pens scratched. Transactions flowed like a well-oiled narrative about trust and access and who gets to move money without friction. The banker, Evan, according to the nameplate, finished with the next client and the one after that. He was good at his job. Efficient. Well-trained in the soft violence of professionalism. He did not look back at the man standing near the brochure rack. The man did not look impatient. He read the pamphlet in his hands like someone who already knew the ending. At 10:31 a.m., a woman in a navy suit entered the branch. She did not approach the counter. She did not wait in line. She stood near the entrance, scanning the room with a practiced stillness. Security noticed her immediately. So did the branch manager, who emerged from her office with the alert posture of someone responding to an unscheduled variable. The woman checked her phone. 10:32 a.m. She nodded once to herself. At 10:33 a.m., the banker laughed again. This time it wasn't directed at the man. It was casual. A joke shared with a client about interest rates. About inflation. About how some people think numbers mean things they don't. The man by the brochure rack closed the pamphlet. He looked up. The woman in the navy suit met his eyes. They did not greet each other. They didn't need to. At 10:34 a.m., The banker's terminal froze. He frowned, clicked his mouse, typed his password again. Nothing. Just a moment, he said to the client in front of him. The branch manager's phone vibrated. She checked it. Her posture changed. Not dramatically. Just enough to matter. At 10:35 a.m., the woman in the navy suit approached the counter. She did not smile. "Good morning," she said to the banker. "I'm here for an internal audit follow-up." The banker blinked, stood up too fast. Of course," he said. "Let me just—" "Please remain seated," she said. Her voice was calm, neutral, unimpressed. The branch manager was already moving. At 10:36 a.m., the banker's screen refreshed. The balance changed. Not incrementally, not politely. It restructured reality. $147,982,441.09. The banker stared. He laughed. Then he stopped. The number did not go away. It simply existed. The banker swallowed. "There must be," he began. The woman in the navy suit placed a badge on the counter. "Board oversight." The words carried weight without volume. "This account," she said, "was temporarily mirrored during a systems consolidation. The visible balance you referenced earlier reflected only one holding entity." She looked at him. "You referenced it publicly." The banker's mouth opened. Behind him, the branch manager went still. The line had stopped moving. The man stepped forward. Not quickly. Not slowly. Exactly on time. He placed his hand on the counter again. Same position. Same calm. "Yes," he said. "That's the one." The banker looked at him now. Really looked. Not at his clothes. Not at his posture. At his stillness. At the absence of urgency. At the way he had waited without asking permission. The woman in the navy suit turned to the man. "Mr. Cole," she said. The transfer cleared at 10:29 a.m. He nodded. "Thank you." She turned back to the banker. "At 10:30 a.m., she continued, "you denied service based on an incomplete data view." She paused. "And at 10:31 a.m. you laughed." The banker's face drained. "I didn't mean—" She raised a hand. "This branch is currently under review for conduct consistency," she said. "The board takes reputational risks seriously." She gestured to the folder still on the counter. "That documentation you refused to review," she said, "includes Mr. Cole's position as majority stakeholder in the firm underwriting this bank's largest municipal bond." The silence was no longer casual. It was strategic. The man said nothing. He didn't need to. The woman in the navy suit tapped her phone. At 10:38 a.m., the banker's access revoked. The terminal logged him out. A soft chime. Final. The branch manager inhaled sharply. "Evan," she said quietly, "please step away from the counter." The banker stood. He looked around. No one laughed now. The man in the trench coat stared at the floor. The woman behind him clutched her purse like it might apologize for her. The banker's laugh, the one that had landed first, had nowhere to go. At 10:39 a.m., the woman in the navy suit spoke again. "Effective immediately," she said, "your employment with the firm is terminated." No drama. No raised voice. No spectacle. Just execution. The banker nodded. Security stepped closer. Not aggressively. Procedurally. The man, Mr. Cole, stepped back. He did not watch the banker leave. He checked his watch. 10:40 a.m. On schedule. The woman in the navy suit turned to Mr. Cole. "Would you like to complete your transaction in private?" she asked. He considered it. "No," he said. "I'm done." She nodded. Respect registered. Data updated. The branch manager approached, her voice careful now, recalibrated. "Mr. Cole," she said, "on behalf of the bank, I apologize for—" He raised a hand. Not dismissive. Conclusive. "It's fine," he said. "I got what I needed." She hesitated. "If there's anything we can do to—" He smiled. "Just once. Professional. Train better," he said. Then he turned and walked out. The doors closed behind him with a soft pneumatic sigh. Inside, the line began to move again, but something had shifted. People spoke less, laughed quieter, looked at screens differently. Numbers had weight now. Outside, Mr. Cole paused. The city moved around him. Traffic, phones, lives intersecting without context. He took a breath. Not of relief, of confirmation. Power, he knew, didn't announce itself. It waited. Never refuse or mock a present circumstance because you never know what fate has in store. In rooms governed by numbers, restraint is leverage, and silence can be a strategy. The most dangerous assumption in any system is believing you already know who matters. If this story resonated, pause and reflect. How often do we confuse people because a theory not to our expectations, and have you ever been refused due to circumstances like this? Share this story with someone who understands the quiet power of patience. And subscribe for more narratives where dignity outlasts disrespect and restraint rewrites the balance sheet.